I'm stopping. Good morning, everyone. I'm stopping that timer, the countdown a little early. I just realized I'm having a the show must go on kind of morning because I came to my studio here, turned everything on, and I have this area all set just for live streaming and videoing to make things more convenient. But the computer apparently had died overnight. So I plugged it in and had to wait a few minutes for it to have enough charge to turn it on. I don't know why I'm wasting time telling you this because right now it's at 1%, even with the plug in. It has gone down. So it may turn off in the middle of our show. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Rise and Shine at 9, every Friday morning at 9. I am Nika Stewart, the host of Rise and Shine at 9. And we talk about entrepreneurial stuff, all the stuff about growing our businesses and growing our lives so that we can make a comfortable living doing what we love. And today I want to talk about how to be consistent with your marketing. And for example, if I wasn't committed to being consistent, I would let the computer dying just let me not. I'd be like, oh, I don't need to go live today. The computer isn't working. But I have another computer here, my phone. I have all these backup plans in case something happens. And so anyway, I'm committed. So here we go. So first of all, I felt like I wanted to be a little more casual today. I've been doing a lot of coming on Friday with like, here are your 3 tips. 1, 2, 3. Have a great week. But I really meant this show to be more casual and interactive. So I do want to chat and talk to you and have some fun. So I will be sharing. I have 4 actual strategies for you that are really powerful that have helped me, and it's what I share with my clients and has helped them be more consistent with their marketing, because when you are consistent, you get results. When you are inconsistent, you not only don't get results, but you feel very stressed and guilty. Have you ever, let me know if you've ever had that feeling, because I have on days where it's like, I know I should get to this and I haven't. Even if no one else knows, I am feeling like not a great businesswoman, like I didn't do my job, and I know it's affecting the business because I'm supposed to do these things. And I have found ways over the years to make sure or make it much more likely that I will stick to my commitments. And those are the things I want to share with you today. So first, welcome, Nikki. Thank you so much for being here on your walk this morning. Good afternoon to Facebook user. I don't see your name, so I'm on 5 or 6 different pages and platforms. So if you are coming on from a Facebook group, please let me know your name because it doesn't show up for me. So say hello and tell me your name so I could say hello back to you instead of hello, Facebook user. I'm assuming that is someone in Europe because you're saying good afternoon, and it's good morning here where I am. But it's good afternoon to many of our club members in Europe. So good afternoon, Europe, and good morning, United States and Canada. Okay. Oh, Satnam, good afternoon to you. Hope you're having a really good Friday afternoon. What I'm going to do is start the show like I normally do and then have it be a little more casual. So feel free to hang out and chat. Grab your coffee because it is time to rise and it's always time to shine. So let's do this. Yum, yum, yum. I just started putting collagen in my coffee, and I'm hoping that helps grow my hair back. It's growing, I think, pretty quickly, but it still feels like, short. I had learned about collagen in coffee a few years ago and started having it every day in my coffee, and I did feel like my skin was good, my hair was good, my body felt good. And then it was probably a few months after using collagen every day that I got my cancer diagnosis, and I stopped everything that was like unusual, like collagen and face creams or whatever I was using at the time. Um, Even though I'm not sure. I wasn't sure. That's the thing. I didn't know what could possibly be the cause of that diagnosis. So I kind of stopped everything. And just yesterday, I decided to start collagen again. So maybe my hair will grow back a little quicker and my skin will get better. What do you use? Sea moss. Nikki uses sea moss in her coffee and tea. That sounds really disgusting. Tell me I'm sure that's good for something. Tell me what that's good for. Maybe I'll have to add that too. What I love about the collagen that I'm using is it has no taste. And so I get to have it. You're supposed to have 2 scoops, so I have 2 cups of coffee often, and I'll have 1 scoop in each coffee now. I mean, I'm saying as if I do this every day, and I started yesterday, but it's what I used to do. So I'm going back to that. And we'll see, but it tastes just as delicious as my normal coffee. Sea moss is all natural. Yeah, excellent. I'd love to know. I'm going to research that and see if I need to add that. So let us talk about being consistent. I might as well start with what I was saying before. One of the ways to give yourself accountability, and this is something that is one of the most difficult things about being an entrepreneur. And I don't mean to be complaining because I wouldn't have it any other way. But when you work for someone else, you have a boss, you have someone above you, and you have to have deliverables at a certain time. If they say, this is when it's done, this is when you do it. There's no option. It's not even, you do it. When you are your own boss, you don't have to do anything. And that's great. And that's awful. It means that many of us as entrepreneurs, we need to be extremely self-motivated. We also, I believe, have to give ourselves accountability. And so there are certain things that you can do to hold yourself accountable. And one of the things that I did recently is with this show. I had decided months ago I want to do a weekly show because I think that will be helpful for my community, attract new people to get to know me, decide if they like me and leave if they don't. But if they like me, then we can build relationships that will help build my whole pipeline and people that I know. So that's what I wanted to do, a consistent weekly show. I decided it would be on Fridays. And so I have to say, I was good. I came on every Friday for a while, but it was never the same time. So it wasn't consistent. It was me coming on and, waking up in the morning, first of all, and saying, I should get up, I should shower, I should put on some makeup. But let me have a coffee first and I'll get to it. And so the show sometimes happened at noon. So even though I thought it should be a rise and shine for me, like get up in the morning, do a morning show, sometimes it was happening at 9, sometimes 9:30, sometimes 10:02. Like there was just no consistency. So what I did was I changed the name of the show and even put in the logo, and I actually haven't even updated it here in the what do you call it? The overlay. I haven't put it in the overlay, but in the promos for the show now, it says Rise and Shine at 9. So the name of the show is Rise and Shine at 9. That holds me accountable, right? I can't show up for Rise and Shine at 9 at 9:15 or noon, right? I can do a different show if I want. But for me, that was a little something that was simple to do that gives me a little bit of stress in a good way, like I better show up. And even this morning, as I was getting dressed, I thought to myself, I don't have to do this. No one is forcing me. This is not a job where my boss says show up to work by 9. I did this to myself, and I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't, I wouldn't show up most of the time. So one thing to hold yourself consistent, because again, why are we holding ourselves consistent to things? Because that's what gives us results. That's what builds our business. It's to give yourself accountability by kind of publicly becoming the boss. Like I now call the show Rise and Shine at 9. So everyone who sees the logo, and when I promote the show on Wednesday and Thursday and say the show is on Friday, it says 9 o'clock. Now everyone out there is my boss holding me accountable. So that's one thing. Can you do something like that in your business where you publicly put something out there and now everyone else holds you accountable? So that was tip number 1. Good morning, Jackie. Or one. What, or I? Or tell me what you mean by that. Oh, that was good morning. Good morning, Dr. Jackie. Okay, so setting a regular schedule and telling people has other people holding you accountable. That's one tip. One other thing that I've been involved in this more and more over the last 6 weeks or so. So this is, even though I've known of this, I've actually been experiencing it in a new, powerful way. So I want to share this with you. And yes, typos are fine, Dr. Jackie. What can you commit to? Let's say this in a different way. What is the minimum task that you can commit to that will move you forward toward your goal? Let me explain what I mean. I want to write a book. And so I know years ago, I remember I wanted to write a book, and I would put on my to-do list every day, write your book. I mean, I say that and I laugh now because how ridiculous is that? One of my to-dos today is to write my book. I know that I'm not writing my book today, but when I would see write my book, I mean, I know I'm not writing the book. What I can do today is so much smaller than that, but I would write down the goal instead of the step. And so I would look at it and not know what to do. And every day, and after months, I just took it off the to-do list because I never did anything. But even more important, I think a lot of us have learned not to put the goal but steps on our to-do list. I am in a weekly mastermind group where we discuss specifically going live. So we talk about our goals for videoing and going live. And I guess a few months ago, I said I don't even remember what I said, but I said, in order to move me towards my goal, I'm in the next week, I am committing to this. And it was a little bit big. And I was like, well, I could make it smaller, but that's too small. So I committed to something bigger and I didn't do it. The next week I said, I didn't do it. What I learned was that was the wrong thing for me to commit to. Not because I couldn't do it, but because it needed to be broken down into smaller steps. And so the next week I said, I'm going to do this first step of it. Just this first step. It actually was like I needed to create I needed to use new software to go live. Like right now I'm going live in this software that's going through, there's a whole bunch of channels and there's overlays and there's another platform to go to in order to send it out to different pages. And it was overwhelming and confusing. And so I said, I want to do that. I want to go live next week using all that. And it was too overwhelming because I didn't know what to do to get there. So the next week I said, what I'm going to do is just pre-schedule a test. I'm just going to test it. I'm going to go live tomorrow at 6 p.m. to my private group and test the software. That's all I'm going to do in the next week. And when I came back the next week, they said, have you done it? Did you do it? And I said, yes, I did it. And then because it worked, I wrote out the steps of how I did it. I gave it to my assistant and said, this is how it's done. And she made a checklist of it. And then I put her in charge of now pre-scheduling my live streams through this new software using all the overlays, et cetera, et cetera. And so then she went and pre-scheduled my next live stream. And the whole group who I was talking to, like, opened their mouths and went, whoa, Look at you. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, look at me. All I committed to was the baby step. And because I committed to just this thing, because I did that, I now knew what to do next and did it. So the moral of the story is, it's really, I guess the title is The Power of a Baby Step. So here's what I believe we all do. When I say, what can you commit to? What are you committed to doing for the next week to grow your business? Most people will give me an answer that is pretty big. Like, okay, by next week I am going to start an Instagram account and post every day. Okay, that's pretty big. What in order to do that, what's the first thing you need to do? What is the minimum smallest task you can do that will move you towards that? And it might be come up with a name for my account. Just come up with a name. And most of us will say, yeah, of course I can do that. But that's not enough. I want to do a lot in the next week. I know you do. I do. And you can and you may, but just figure out the smallest possible step that you can commit to that will move you towards the goal, and commit to that. When you do, and then you honor your commitment, you will likely do so much more. But don't decide to commit to the big thing. First, commit to the first step. Before you commit to the second step, just commit to the first step. That is what has been working for me. When I look back over the last 2 months with this live streaming group, ever since I started doing that, I can't believe how far I've come. When the first week I committed to too much and did nothing, I now have gone so much further than I thought I would by committing to tiny steps. And so that's what I suggest for you. I hope that is helpful for you. Write out a list of topics to go live about is my first step, Nikki. That was one of my steps too. Do it. So one week, my goal, my commitment was to write out, I said I want to write out 12 topics. So that's about 3 months of weekly shows. And the group tried to convince me that was a little too big. But for me, writing out 12 topics is actually very easy. So that I could get done in 5 minutes. What was more of a commitment for me was to map out the bullet points and actually get clarity on the whole topic. And so I could have 12 topics. That's going to do nothing for me. But if I have a topic, like I want a topic of how to, what did I say? How to be consistent with your marketing. That was one of my topics. But until I listed out the 3 or 4 things that I was going to share, I wasn't really ready. So my commitment for 1 week was write out 12 topics, but write the bullet points and dive deep so that I am ready for just 4 topics. So I have a month of shows in my head pre-planned. I'm ready to go live with one of these 4 topics, but I have, and then, in another week or 2, I can dive deep on some more. So if that works for you, write out a list so maybe their first step is just write out a list of topics. That's it. Just write out a list of topics. That's really fun. And brainstorm. Feel free to come back here and we'll talk about topics for you. That's a great step, because once you do that, your mind will go, now I know what to do next. So yes, write out a list of topics. For me, the next step was to write the bullet points for some of those topics. Because even though I said I'm going live every Friday morning, it was Thursday night I would get in bed and I would say to my husband, what should I talk about tomorrow on my show? And he would say, you have a show in a few hours. You don't have it planned? And so now that, another thing, and I was saying, like, if you can set it so someone else holds you accountable. So what I've done is, now that I've taught my assistant how to pre-schedule my shows, she needs to know the topic on Wednesday if she's going to pre-schedule it. So now I have in my calendar Tuesday afternoon, decide on a topic for Friday's show and write out the description and send it to Chrissy. So on Wednesday, she can pre-schedule it. Now I have a show. Now I have to show up, right? So again, what can you do to hold yourself accountable from other people? The second thing was to decide on what is the absolute smallest step you can take to move you towards your goal and commit to that one tiny thing. Okay, so here's a third thing you can do to hold yourself accountable to staying consistent to your marketing. Have a daily checklist. In other words, have a system. So most of the things we do in our business, we do just because it's in our head and we do the same thing every day. So we know what we're doing and we just do it. If you write out the steps as a checklist, for example, you want to go on LinkedIn every day and build your thought leader status. So you can't write as in your to-do list, go on LinkedIn and build my thought leader status. I mean, you can, but that doesn't tell you what to do. If you know the steps to do, all you have to do is say, do my LinkedIn checklist. And then you open up LinkedIn and you check off you do that. You were told exactly what to do. So either figure out your system and document it, or research it and document someone else's system, which, by the way, I have for you if you'd like a checklist of daily tasks to do on social media so you can be consistent. Because imagine if you had a checklist in front of you, right? And this is what I tell people to do with my checklist. Print it out, put it next to your laptop. Every day, open up Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you're working on. Look at the checklist, do that thing, do this thing, done. How much more consistent will you be? Checklist. I have a LinkedIn checklist and I have an overall social media checklist. If you want it, put checklist in the comments and I will send it to you. Write checklist in the comments and I will DM you the link to grab your checklist. Or go to Shine Checklist, shinechecklistcom. I'm going to see if I have that here. I do. All right. Go to shinechecklist.com and grab your checklist. If you want the LinkedIn one, write LinkedIn checklist in the comments and I will get that to you. So again, have a system. If it's not for social media, if it's for whatever you're doing that you should be doing consistently every day in order to grow, don't just say do the thing. Write out the steps, make a checklist or a system, and just follow that every day. If you go back to doing, but I know what to do. I know you know what to do. Write it out, document it anyway. It makes it so much easier to follow and be consistent. Are you committed to me to doing that? Let's see. Excellent. We'll be sending to you. Using sticky notes. Excellent. That's like a checklist. That's obviously we all have our own systems and our own ways of doing things. I love sticky notes. I happen to like sticky notes or note cards where when I'm done, I put it aside. And the next day I start again. But it feels like checking off, right? Taking away when you're done. So yes, you're committed. Nikki is committed. I think, and I see a whole bunch of likes. Good for you. Be committed to documenting your system. And the last tip I want to give you for staying consistent is to pre-schedule your broadcast posts. You can't pre-schedule relationship building and community and engagement, but you can pre-schedule broadcasts. So my advice is to minimum once a week write 3 posts for the next week and schedule them in Hootsuite, Buffer, Meet Edgar, Promo Republic, whatever your scheduler of choice is. They're all good. Well, They're all they're all good for different reasons and for different people. Choose a scheduler that you like. If you don't have one, grab a free account on Hootsuite. Get started with that, and then once a week, write 3 posts for next week, have them scheduled, because then that part of your marketing is always consistent. And you don't have to feel like, oh, I forgot to get to it. If you forgot, or we get overwhelmed and stressed and have too much to do one day and you didn't have time to get to it, you got to it. Your posts are consistent. This is like the ultimate easy thing. Pre-schedule once a week. 3 posts for next week. In the Shine membership, which, by the way, you have to be a member of. I mean, how could you not be? If you are a member of, thank you so much for posting that. Is that, I assume that's Chrissy. Is that, I don't have a name there. What was I saying? Oh, so in the Shine membership, in Shine 365, we every Friday have a co-creation station where it's your way of my way of holding you accountable. You come on Friday at noon Eastern, whatever time it is for you. You show up. I say, okay, everyone, take out your scheduler, take out your calendar, take out your pen and paper, take your post templates. You don't even have to write the post from scratch. I give you the post, the prompts, like a jumping off point. Take it out. You have 1 minute to take it out. You have 2 minutes to circle which ones you want to do. You have now 20 minutes to write your posts. And everyone gets their posts done. If you show up every week, you get your post done for the week. You are never again not consistent. Schedule 30 minutes a week for yourself. Sit down, write your posts. Don't sit down, stand up if you would like. Write your posts. Do it on a treadmill with a treadmill desk in front of you. Write your posts for the week and you are consistent. Then you never say, I don't know what to say today. You already said it. Now you have the time. If you have time, you get to do the fun stuff, the engaging, the commenting, the building relationships with people. That's the stuff that really helps on social media, but your foundation is done ahead of time and you're always consistent. So Scarlett is asking, I just use Facebook scheduling option, which also connects to Instagram. Is that okay? Absolutely. So Facebook prefers if you use their pre-scheduler. At least that's what it seems. And because Facebook prefers you to stay on Facebook and not use outside apps. So yes, Facebook scheduler is great. When it goes to Instagram, that's a whole other story that, by the way, why do people say a whole nother story? Nother is not a word. It's a whole other story. When you post to 2 places at once, on the one hand, it's really great to leverage your time, to multiply the impact of the time you're spending and put your post out in 2 places. But I do have some issues with, I think it could be a little lazy and you may want to go onto another platform to post natively because the culture is a little different and the words may be a little different. But Facebook and Instagram are owned by Facebook, so Facebook is not going to get angry with you. So that's bottom line, that's a good thing. Okay, so good morning. And now I have good morning Facebook user. If you're in a group, tell me your name because I don't see your names here, but I will come back and say hello to you. So I'm going to repeat my 4 ways for you to stay consistent in your social media, in your marketing in general. And then I'm going to tell you what's going, and then I want to hear what you're doing this weekend, and I'm going to tell you a fun story about what I'm doing this weekend. I'm so excited. Okay, so number 1, I don't remember the order I told you these, but number 1 is to set a consistent schedule for yourself, but hold yourself accountable by having other people be involved so that you can't not show up or honor your commitment because it would be bad because other people would be affected. For example, I named this show Rise and Shine at 9. So I have to show up at 9, right? Because it would be weird if I didn't. I also got my assistant, Chrissy. I said to her, in order for this to be consistent, can you please pre-schedule the show on Wednesdays? And that means on Tuesday, by Wednesday, I need to have the topic. So I am now held accountable by Chrissy. And then once she pre-schedules it, I am now held accountable to show up because it's out there. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It says I'm showing up. I can't not show up. So other people are now holding me accountable. What can you do to get other people to hold you accountable in that way? Take care, Dr. Jackie. Really great to see you. And hello, Barb. Great to see you. Number 2, commit to the minimum task that you can commit. What is the minimum task that you can feel totally committed to that will move you toward your goal? This is so powerful. And I am going to be working more and more on this. I am writing a book right now, and so I want to now do this for my book instead of saying write a book. That cannot go. That cannot go on my daily to-do list. I can't say write a book, but what is the minimum task I can do? You know what I can do? I can write bullet points for one chapter. So that's what I'll commit to do. What is the minimum thing you can commit to that moves you towards? The challenge that comes up is we go, yeah, but I want to also do this. Yeah, no. Take a breath. I'm talking to myself because I know this is me. What is the absolute minimum task that you can commit to that will move you towards your goal? It's a baby step. And I promise you, when you just commit to that, you can very easily honor that commitment, take that step, and as soon as you finish that step, which is a very tiny, easy thing to do, right? As soon as you take that step, the next obvious step becomes clear to you. But if you commit to something too big, it's very often we don't keep that commitment. So what is the very minimum next step you can take? Try that. Number 3, document daily work, things that need to be done consistently. Document it, have a system, have a checklist. Again, grab your checklist. It's in the comments. Chrissy put it in the comments. And you can grab it at shinechecklistcom. And when you and print it out, have it in front of you. I think that manually having it in front of you, even if you're working digitally, if digitally works for you, that's fine too. If Post-it notes work for you, that's great. If note cards work for you, whatever works for you, but have it open in front of you each time, each day, each week that you are supposed to do marketing activities. And when you have it in front of you, you just need to look. It just becomes easy. One of the biggest challenges with entrepreneurship is just too many things to do. But we have the time to do them. We really do. Why do some people get so much done? This is one of the reasons. It's broken down. Good morning, sweetheart. My daughter is here. It's broken down into baby steps. And that makes it easy. When we have all this stuff to do and it's overwhelmed in our heads, we don't get to it. When it is broken down into steps, we get so much. When people say, how do you get so much done? It's because I just do baby steps, right? Have the baby steps in front of you. So much easier. And the last thing is to pre-schedule your posts, your marketing posts each week. And that part makes life so much easier, so much easier. If you're not doing that, just do that. Pre-schedule 3 posts for next week. And then next week you'll be like, oh, wow, that was really fun. Now I'm going to do that every week. And if you want accountability for that, you need to join the Shine Squad because we hold you accountable to do that every week. Not only that, we also give you the posts. So how much time are you saved when you have do you save when you have a template? Instead of going, okay, I need to write more posts for the week. Okay, here are your posts. I mean, fill in the blanks, make them your language, and you have posts for the week. So instead of a few hours writing posts, it's a few minutes. And you have amazing people supporting you and accountability and all that stuff, all the amazingness. So join the Shine Squad. Get your checklist, do all the stuff, and yeah. Oh, and then I just want to tell you that tomorrow I am driving about 3.5 hours to pick up my daddy's new puppy, and I am so excited. I think I'm more excited than he is because I don't know, because I just love little animals. And my mom finally told my dad he can have a puppy, and she's very nervous. And I am planning on practically living at my parents' house with a mask on. I think the puppy may need to wear a mask too, to help them raise this puppy for the first few weeks because my mom is so nervous about a new puppy in her house. And thank you, Scarlett. Let's put that up. Let's put that up. How do I do that? There we go. Uh-oh, did I do that wrong? I put up too many. Okay. Oh, did you see the puppy, Nika? Nick, I called you Nika. Nikki. Yeah, so cute. And I get to meet him tomorrow and bring him home. He'll be 8 weeks old. He's a Cavapoo. Not totally sure on the name yet, but my dad is down to 2 possible names, I think. And yeah, I'm so excited because I feel like I get to be like the grandma, like, where I get all the fun, but not all the work. Like I can then say, oh, this is too difficult and leave, like give the puppy back to my parents. But I also am, speaking of commitment, I have committed to myself. They are not asking, but I want my mom to be in love with this puppy. So I want it to be a little easier for her. She's so stressed out about the training and all the stuff in the beginning that is difficult having a new baby. So I may even stay overnight for a few nights and wake up every hour and take the puppy outside to help with potty training and so that there's less to clean up in the house. But I'm not a dog person, meaning, and I think it's mostly because I never had the lifestyle that could take care of a dog. So I have always had cats. But I love little animals. I just love animals. So I'm so excited for him to have a puppy, a dog that I could go love, but don't have to take out and take care of. But it'll be so good for my parents to have this little love in their lives. Because, ever since the pandemic and because they've both retired, and they're active, but sometimes I'm sure it gets boring. And how fun would that be? Yes, so much work in the beginning is what I've heard because I've never had a dog, but worth it, right? Scarlett, you have a dog, right? I think I remember pictures of your baby. I guess it's like having a baby. So much work in the beginning, but worth it. She's not looking at me. Worth it most of the time. So I'm kind of glad I went through that first 15 years. Does it get easier? Does having a child get easier? No. But I heard having a puppy gets easier as they become part of the family and they're potty trained and all of that. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. Thank you for listening. I feel like I've been waiting so long since I found this Cavapoo puppy for my dad, and they're like, you have to wait till he's 8 weeks old. I'm like, I want him today. But tomorrow we're going to, so it's like a 3.5 hour drive there and a 3.5 hour drive home. And then we have to start training and loving and getting used to the puppy. So that's what I'll be doing for the next few weeks. But I'm still have to honor my commitments to my marketing and to you by showing up here every Friday at 9, Rise and Shine at 9. Oh, Nigel, Scarlett's 1-year-old Nigel snuggles, makes all the grr stuff melt away. Yeah, that's what pets do for us. So how could we not? Thank you so much, Nikki. That will be my tomorrow. I'll be videoing some of it because I'm going to have to turn that into some fun journey video. And yeah, and then also one last thing, rise and shine at 9 a.m. I keep thinking I should do a something and shine, like maybe it's savor and shine at 9 p.m. And instead of coffee, we have, you know, nighttime drink of choice. Diet Coke, sparkling water, whatever your nighttime drink is. Let me know if that appeals to you, because then that would be more of just like chatting about our puppies and our kids and our business and just fun stuff. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been really fun. I really appreciate all of you chatting with me. You make my life much more fun and happy. I truly, truly appreciate all of you. Don't forget that the world needs more of you. I truly mean that. The world needs more of you because you have something. We all have something that's unique and special that we share. Our businesses are often the vehicle for sharing our brilliance and making other people's lives better. The world needs more of that. And in order for them to get it, you need to get out there. Not the you that you think you should be, the you that you are. You need to get out there. And I hope